Mortal Kombat 1 came out a couple of days ago on the 19th of September, but I pre-ordered the game and got it early and was able to play it on the 14th, and I've been playing it ever since then, and I have to tell you, it's been a lot of fun. Mortal Kombat is a franchise that I've been playing for a very long time, even since before Mortal Kombat 9 in 2011. I remember as a kid, even though I really shouldn't have been playing Mortal Kombat, playing Mortal Kombat Deception and even Armageddon, but it was something that I was never really too good at. It was just something that I played for fun, and then Mortal Kombat 11 came out, and it had a story mode and it had a whole lot more single player content, and I played a lot of that. Mortal Kombat X came out then a couple of years later in 2015, and this was the first game that I realized that I wanted to be really good at playing the game. I wanted to learn how to do combos. I wanted to be better than my friends, essentially. That was all that I actually ever really cared about. I just wanted to be able to go online, play against my friends, and prove to them that I can kick their ass and be better than them. And that's exactly what I strove out to do. I learned how to do some really basic B&B combos with Jason Voorhees at the time, and I proceeded to beat all of my friends at the game because they simply just did not know what to do. Mortal Kombat 11 came out a few years later after that, and I think 2019, and I remember being slightly disappointed in Mortal Kombat 11. I didn't think it was it was fun enough and it kept me engaged, but the game just didn't really entice me in the way that previous Mortal Kombat games did. And I really soon after started just stop playing the game after a while, and I didn't really care about downloading any new DLC characters. I didn't care about downloading Aftermath. It just was something that didn't really pique my interest, even though it has characters that I really wanted to play at the time, which was Joker, the Terminator, and of course Spawn. That's incredible. I just didn't ultimately end up playing Mortal Kombat 11 and its DLC characters, so I ultimately ended up skipping it, and when they announced that they were going to be releasing a new Mortal Kombat game, of course, I was hopefully optimistic that this was going to be an interesting game. But the thing that really sold it for me this time around was, well, honestly, it was the DLC characters. It was Homelander, Peacemaker, and Omni-Man, and I saw that Omni-Man was going to be a part of the first Combat Pack, and I hadn't seen Invincible at that point, and then I eventually ended up watching the show, and I was like, holy shit, I really want to fucking play Omni-Man. That looks like a lot of fun. And then, of course, Takeda is the DLC character. He was, like, my main character in Mortal Kombat X, so of course that was something that I really was interested in. But ultimately, it was the new Mortal Kombat game, so of course I was going to play it. But then going into it, when I learned the system mechanics of how the game was going to be played with this new cameo fighter system, I was really nervous, because I had played tag-based fighting games before in the past, like BlazBlue Cross Tag, Dragon Ball FighterZ, and Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I played a couple of tag-based fighting games, and I just wasn't really too good at them, and I simply just couldn't get into the mindset of trying to use my other playable characters on my team to try to create a stylish combo that involved having them come in, do an attack, and then extending the combo so I can do more damage. It just was something I couldn't really get into. I tried a lot with Dragon Ball FighterZ, but ultimately I just realized that I kind of sucked at the game, and I enjoy watching the game more than I do actually playing the game. So I kind of dropped any team-based fighting game. But then when Mortal Kombat 1 was announced to be having cameo fighters with the mechanic system similar to that of the Marvel series, similar, but in a very much different sort of way, I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect. But now that I've been playing it for the past, I think week or so, I've been having a ton of fun. So let's go ahead and talk about the actual content of the game, starting with the single player content stuff. I want to keep the story mode portion of the video really short because I really think that you should play it for yourself, but the overall gist of the point that I want to get across with this portion of the video is that I really enjoyed it. I didn't know anything about the story mode other than exploring a new timeline with characters that we've already seen before, but just differently. And overall, I just had a really fun experience. For the first half of the game, it was just like a typical story mode of trying to figure out this mystery of who's helping out Shang Tsung and Quan Chi, and what are they trying to do with the timelines. But the characters really pull everything together. The only thing that you can probably, well, not the only thing, the main thing that you could probably argue about this first half of the story is probably Johnny Cage and the fact that he's basically just a walking movie reference, and that's basically it, because most of his lines are just references to other movies. I don't know, I kind of find it a little bit charming considering that I kind of do the exact same thing. I like making references to movies with my friends all the time, so it wasn't really that big of a deal for me. It didn't really bother me all that much. But the overall character writing and the character relationships, especially in the first half of the story when like the first 2 acts, it just really all kind of connected and blended together in a way that was just really enjoyable. Characters like Reptile and Baraka, who have been jobbers for like fucking decades now, actually didn't really feel like they were like that anymore. They actually felt like they actually were different versions of characters that we've already seen before in the past. One of them being Baraka was like a leader of the Tarkatans, and he actually really felt like he was this leader of these outsiders from Outworld. And Reptile was initially working for Shang Tsung, but then was betrayed by him because he murdered his family, and then he ends up working with Liu Kang and the good guys, and I think that was just really cool. He ends up being one of the main characters. Towards the later half of the story, especially towards like when they get closer to what the twist is, it kind of takes like a different direction as a story mode, but it was still really enjoyable. I didn't have a bad time playing the story, and overall, I think if you're looking for a fun story mode experience, especially with Mortal Kombat, I think you're going to be getting that. So definitely would recommend checking it out if you're interested in the story, but if not, then obviously you can go ahead and try out whatever else the game has to offer. Next up, I want to talk about Invasions, and Invasions is the mode where I dislike it the most, right? I dislike it the most, and I like it the least, because although it's ultimately not horrible, it's not bad, because previously in Mortal Kombat 11, what we had to do for like cosmetic items is that we had to farm towers and the Towers of Time to be able to farm, or not really farm, but like play through a tower to get a specific item for specific characters. And they were all like on rotation from one another. So you ultimately just had to wait until a tower showed up that had a cosmetic piece for a character that you might not even really play. And it was annoying, it was super grindy. The towers were, at the time during early launch as well, were very RNG and extremely difficult for no reason really whatsoever. And then, of course, you add on top of the fact that the crit was also really grindy as well, with having to grind a whole bunch of hearts and soul points and coins. It just wasn't really a whole lot of fun. I have a lot of hours spent on Mortal Kombat 11 simply just trying to get that portion of the game done. And that's why, I think that's another reason why I don't have a lot of fond memories of Mortal Kombat 11, is because I remember doing all of that, trying to just get it out of the way so that way I could just go and do the fun stuff, which is actually just playing the game. And Invasions is basically better than that, but it's sort of like this like RPG sort of esque mode. But the RPG-ness is really, are the modifiers going to screw you over, yes or no? And because they give you like this talisman, they're not talismans that they have, but they're like medallions, and they give you like additional like moves that could help you out in combat, but they're not really that necessary. They don't really make that much of a significant change in the gameplay. They're just kind of like whatever. They're sort of just there. The RNG-ness of trying to like play around with the modifiers, certain nodes on like the maps that you're probably seeing on screen right now, some of them have more like terrible like modifiers to try to get through, to the point like it gets so annoying that you can't even really do any combos. You basically get like 1 or 2 hits in, and then you get stunned, and then the opponent, whoever you're fighting against, they get a couple of hits in, and then they get stunned, and then it pretty much just repeats like that over and over again until one of you wins. And it's not really a whole lot of fun to play, but I think the main thing that I enjoyed about the Invasions mode so far for this season was the fact that it was centered around a different timeline version of Scorpion, which was Hanzo Hasashi, and this version of Hanzo Hasashi was going through different timelines trying to find a version of his wife who wasn't dead, and then he comes across the current timeline that we're in that is ruled by Fire God Liu Kang, and it's the one where Kuai Liang is Scorpion and Harumi is alive, and she's, you know, married to him, and he doesn't like that. So he causes like some like really fucked up rampage. We have to fight him at the end of the invasion, like mesas, and then it ends with a cutscene of, I think, Fire God Liu Kang explaining, yeah, we ultimately found him another timeline where essentially the same thing happens, but instead of Harumi dying, it's Hanzo that died, and she becomes Scorpion. So Hanzo Hasashi from whichever other timeline, it goes into that timeline where Harumi is Scorpion, and they basically go and help each other out, and they fight a whole bunch of like like of the bad characters like Quan Chi and some other characters. I think Havoc might have been one of them. And I thought that was really cool, right? And I think if they continue to do this more often, if they continue to have this rather, I think it would be really interesting, and I'll play through Invasions for that alone. The cosmetics are also really worth it as well, because you get different palettes for different costumes for your characters, and a lot of them so far for this season have looked really good. Raiden has one particular palette skin that I actually really enjoy, and some other characters also have other palette skins that I really enjoy as well. Astra has one that I actually really like as well. But it's just another really grindy mode, and then having to grind like these mastery levels to unlock fatalities and brutalities for your characters. Ultimately, you're still unlocking something even long after you're done, like with the base single player mode stuff, which is story mode and invasions, which is nice, but it's still kind of annoying that this is like the avenue that we have to go through in order to be able to unlock brutalities. Kind of annoying, but you know, at least we're still like working towards something, and that's fun enough at least. And even though like if you're not playing through invasions, you can still unlock that stuff by simply just playing online. So if you play on a lot of online modes like King of the Hill, casual matches, or even Combat League, then it's fine. And the last thing I want to talk about is really just like the gameplay overall and online. And a couple of other content creators like Maximilian Dude have mentioned how online is kind of like bare bones, as previously before you had like these like community things on like the previous Mortal Kombat games where you can create like a room, and in these rooms a whole bunch of people can join all at once. I think like around like 30 people, and you can just like all challenge each other one after another, and you can just have a whole bunch of matches against each other anytime you want. And the only thing that you can really do in Mortal Kombat 1 right now is you can do that, but only with King of the Hill. And King of the Hill is exactly like the way that it sounds. You have one guy who's playing at the top, and he's the one who's currently on a win streak, and he's the King of the Hill, and the point is to try to get him off of the top of the King of the Hill. And that gets really boring after a while. Player matches are play matches. Combat League is currently the ranked mode, and we have the Spectre season, the same thing for the Invasions mode, where you unlock some new skins and gear pieces for your characters depending on your rank in the Combat League. And I've eventually been playing a lot of that. It's a lot of fun playing against other players who are either better than me and learning how to play against them, or just ultimately finding another player and just completely stomping them. It's been a lot of fun. This is the most I've played online in a Mortal Kombat game, and it's been really enjoyable. I feel like I've learned a lot simply just through playing online and playing with my characters. But gameplay overall, let's talk about that and have that like finish off the review portion of the video. I really have been enjoying a lot of the characters, and a lot of the characters look so much fun that this is really the first time in a long time where I've felt like I've wanted to play like every single character. Kung Lao is the character that I've been playing the most so far, and is pretty much my main, and he kind of always has been in every Mortal Kombat game, but he's the character that I've been playing a lot the most. I have seen a setup done by Foxy Grandpa and one of his videos, and he does a setup with the cameo version of Kung Lao where he does the buzzsaw on the ground and holds the assist button, and then does an overhead, and then it leads into the low and extends a combo, and you can just pretty much get like a 30% combo for no meter whatsoever. And it's a lot of fun just setting up that setup with both Kung Laos, and a lot of people haven't really been expecting this, and I've been using it in Combat League recently, and no one ever really expects it. And it's also plus on block, and you can extend it on combo strings or block strings, and get like Oki or go for a grab and push them into the corner, and then pressure them more with overheads and lows. That's been a lot of fun. There's a setup with the cameo Scorpion that I found with Reptile, where he can extend combos, and you can end it off for like super huge damage with like the force balls, especially if you meter burn them and get more damage. Raiden currently is probably like the best character so far in Mortal Kombat 1, and because he could just extend his combos and get crazy damage with Jax for basically fucking nothing. Hopefully I'm showing these combos on screen for you to see what I'm talking about, because they're absolutely ridiculous, but they're so fun to watch, even though they're insanely long, and you basically just have to like sit there and watch them if you don't have breaker. But that's kind of like the fun of it. I kind of have fun watching people just do these insanely long and crazy combos. Just overall, the whole gameplay of just seeing these characters do crazy things that I don't expect them to do, and trying to figure out how to play against them and, you know, and ultimately beat them and win the match has been a lot of fun. And this is the most fun that I've had actually playing the game in a very long time, because previously in previous MK games I didn't really play a whole lot of online because of my own insecurities as a player, playing against other players. I knew I would get really frustrated if I played against other players online, but I had to subside my ego and, you know, and try to relax on that. And I've been trying, you know. It's still kind of frustrating when I run into a player who's really annoying and plays a game a particular way that I just fucking hate, and then I still haven't really learned how to tech throws, even though I know what buttons to press. It's just I can never do it, so it's very difficult for me to tech throws, even though I know exactly what to do in order to handle it. It's just I haven't really been doing it very successfully, but it's still been a lot of fun. Even regardless of all the things that make the game pretty frustrating for me, I still have fun playing the game. The game looks incredible. The stages look absolutely fucking phenomenal. The team designers for the stages have done an absolutely phenomenal job, as well as the music team surrounding the game, because the music in the game is also incredible. The characters look good, the voice acting is good, save for Natara because it's voiced by Megan Fox and she's not really that great. And just overall, the game has just been a really fun experience, and I really want to play more of it. I want to play it more right now, but I'm recording this video for you to watch, so yeah, I don't know, of course I'm gonna have to edit it as well, so I better hurry up and get on with it so that way I can get back to playing. Yeah, that's pretty much the review though. I'm really enjoying it. I am anticipating for future DLC characters to come out and have a whole lot of fun with those characters as well. And maybe we're going to get an aftermath for Mortal Kombat 1. Maybe. I think that would be a really smart idea considering how the story mode ends for Mortal Kombat 1. I think it would just make a lot of sense, but maybe they have something else in mind. And whatever it is, I'm totally down for it. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and wrap things up. I think I've pretty much said everything that I wanted to, so yeah, that's pretty much it. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more, please be sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'm out. Peace.